Ladies and gentlemen, a new week and a new set of amazing flight sim news for us to cover here on FlyBy Simulations. It seems like only yesterday that the PMDG 777 was released, and we already have some new info about PMDG's next flagship products coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, including the Queen of the Skies, the PMDG 747, as well as the 777 freighter variant. On top of this, we also have some information about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and the upcoming World and Sim updates for the current Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 itself. So with all that said, the last bit I want to say before jumping into all the news is that the background footage you're seeing is courtesy of a full 30-minute cinematic experience shared on our second channel, FlyBy Expeditions, with many more such videos to come very soon. We just recently hit 1,000 subscribers on that channel, and I'm desperately trying to promote it further, so please do consider checking it out and subscribing yourself. With that out of the way, let's get right into the news. Firstly then folks, we of course have some exciting updates from PMDG to share with you today, including new product updates, the 777 making its way to the marketplace for Xbox users and PC users alike, as well as hints about the development of the 747 and much more, so let's dive right in. First up, a new update just dropped for the PMDG 777-300ER for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This update brings improvements in stability, performance, and various other areas. One of the key additions is the inclusion of new QR codes to make accessing the 777 documentation easier. Plus, if you have a Navigraph subscription, you can now also update all of your nav data via the Universal Flight Tablet directly. I'll encourage you guys to check out the full changelog for all of the details with this update, linked down in the description section down below. Next, let's talk about the 777 freighter variant for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Robert mentioned that they're in the process of setting its go-to beta date and will keep us updated once it enters beta testing. They anticipate that this will be a pretty quick process, in quotes, and at the same time, the team is also deciding whether to proceed with the 777-200ER after the 777 freighter releases, so exciting times ahead for all PMDG fans. On the console note, the PMDG 777-300ER has officially been submitted to the in-sim marketplace for evaluation. Now, this process is expected to take 2 to 4 weeks from Asobo, but it could vary considering that the PMDG 777 is a credible add-on that's been posted. The great news is that it's submitted for both PC and Xbox owners, so console pilots won't have to wait long to enjoy the 777. This dual release means that everyone can look forward to flying this iconic aircraft regardless of their platform, and if you guys haven't been able to yet, trust me, it's an absolute joy. Now for some rather short but still exciting news about the PMDG 747 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Contrary to what we might think regarding the development of the 747 project, development on this aircraft apparently started way back in January of this year and is, according to PMDG, progressing very well. Robert confirmed that the 747 has traditionally been PMDG's flagship product, and we should expect some unexpected and very exciting things. Personally, knowing that the 747 has already ticked off 6 months out of its development timeline is already good news, and though I don't expect it to be coming out anytime soon, obviously, it's great knowing that PMDG are working on so many awesome projects and that the Queen of the Skies isn't being left behind or anything. There's also speculation about what PMDG will do with their 737 MAX agendas, but I guess time will tell when they'll squeeze that project in. I predict it's likely going to release in the middle of some of the 777 releases as a side project. PMDG might just have to accelerate the development pipeline on it due to increased competition from the likes of Asobo themselves, who will be including a 737 MAX in the new FS 2024 sim, calling it the most complex airliner they've built so far. Next up folks, with the future of Microsoft Flight Simulator, the most recent developer livestream from Jorg, Sebastian, and Marciel has provided us with tons of updates regarding the current sim, as well as the one upcoming in November, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. First up, we have World Update 17 to talk about, which is bringing a host of enhancements to the United Kingdom and Ireland. Now, you might remember that the third World Update back in 2020 2021, I believe, also focused on this very same region. This time around, the developers are revisiting the British Isles, adding some highly requested community wishlist items like detailed photogrammetry coverage for London. The free update will include around 70 new points of interest, along with handcrafted airports and photogrammetry towns and cities. York kicked off the showcase by highlighting the new digital elevation model, or DEM, that's coming into the sim as well. This DEM brings only minor improvements to England, but significant enhancements to the more remote regions of Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. For instance, London and most of England now boast a resolution of about 50 to 100 centimeters from the satellite standpoint, while the rest of the UK is at around 2 meters, depending on available coverage, of course. Jorg admitted that the last world update covering Ireland left the area, quote, severely underserved. This time, they've added 2 new photogrammetry cities, Cork and Dublin, along with numerous new POIs. Meanwhile, cities like Glasgow, Edinburgh, Cardiff, London, Bristol, Leeds, Bradford, Sunderland, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Brighton are all included for a total of 13 photogrammetry cities available in this update. Now, for those of you looking to fly into new handcrafted airports, as is the case with all of these updates usually, you'll have a selection between Cork, Sumburgh, Cardiff, London Stansted, and Farnborough. The Farnborough scenery, produced by AnyBuilds, is specially configured for the upcoming Farnborough Air Show. So if you set the sim's time and date to the air show days specifically, you'll see guests and static aircraft dotted around the southern apron, similar to how they implemented Paris-Le Bourget Airport ahead of last year's Paris Air Show as well. World Update 17 is coming out in just 3 days on Monday, July 22nd, which, by the way, also happens to be the day we see our first developer live stream from AnyBuilds, where they've confirmed they'll be talking about the A350. Full details in this video, and do make sure you're subscribed to not miss out on any content related to that. Now, there was a mention of a surprise for July in the roadmap snapshot as well. Jorg confirmed that an aircraft from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is planned to release alongside the upcoming Olympic Games in Paris. However, this aircraft needs a little bit more time before it's fully ready, so it won't be coming out in July now, but it might be coming out in August or September, let's say. Next up then, folks, let's move on to a feature that's been in the making for quite some time but hasn't yet seen the light of day. I am, of course, talking about the World Hub. For those unfamiliar, the World Hub allows community contributors to make improvements to airports in the sim, and if they're appreciated by the community, the devs can then approve them and include them in the actual sim via an update, indicating a true collaboration between the developers and the community, of course. Now, during Flight Sim Expo in Las Vegas, a contributor expressed concerns about new aerial imagery data with the new elevation maps and so on in the new sim, potentially making the current World Hub work redundant. To address this, the World Hub will temporarily close with the release of World Update 17 in just 3 days and reopen only after Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has launched, allowing time for adjustments to the new sim's improvements so that more airport updates can be in accordance with that. Finally then, let's dive into some Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 news and Q&A. Jorg confirmed that the next development stream will include an announcement completing the lineup of aircraft for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 Standard Edition. Now, this directly suggests that, like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, there will be a base and premium tier of this sim, with the premium tier likely being, or not likely, most probably being more expensive. More detailed information about the new sim, according to the devs, will be shared in the next 8 weeks, and we here at FlyBy Simulations will be sure to keep you guys updated with more of that. Now, they did have a bit of a Q&A session during the developer livestream, and here are some of the important items that came out of that. First things first, support for multiple jetways won't be available at launch for the new sim. Secondly, African world updates is something that's been on the mind of a lot of simmers, and the developer team has confirmed that world updates for Africa are planned, with imaging planes already gathering data from the elevation maps and all that off the planes. As for more in-depth information about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, as the dev suggested, over the next 8 weeks we should hear more, but specifically September is going to be the month where we're going to be given a lot of new information about the sim, so mark that month on your calendars. Some people were also wondering about the Brazil world update, and the team says that the data for this has been gathered and the update is in the pipeline, expected in just a few months. As for updates on the ATR, which have been quite a long time coming, expect new features and fixes for the ATR again by mid-September, including building the STOL version of the ATR-42. Now, frankly, in my opinion, this project has taken quite a bit of time, but I do hope that the final product is pleasing and nice for the community. Next up then, some people had questions about add-on upgrades from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, especially on the in-sim marketplace. Now, the developers at Asobo and Microsoft suggest that the developers of the actual add-ons will be the ones to set prices for the upgraded versions of the add-ons for the new sim if they so choose. The only thing that Asobo and Microsoft can promise us is that most of them will be compatible and there's not going to be much of an update shift for the current developers to make their add-ons compatible with the new sim. But as for the pricing aspect, though they're not going to be taking a penny of it, the developers will have the ability to set prices for upgraded versions of the add-ons. Next up, some people were wondering whether Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and Flight Simulator 2024 players will be able to come together and have multiplayer sessions. To this, the developer said no, they won't share any servers, so no cross-version multiplayer will be possible, unfortunately. The final question asked in this Q&A was about model matching. Now, the team have confirmed that there's not going to be any improvements coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 when it comes to model matching due to its inherent memory limitations, but they have said that a completely revamped system is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in order to have all of the model matching done in a much more efficient manner. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the conclusion of our video today, talking about all of the PMDG updates, everything we know about the future roadmap of the current sim, as well as Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, of course. What are you folks most excited about? Do let me know down in the comment section down below. With that said, once again, if you enjoyed the background footage and content, please consider subscribing to our second channel, FlyBy Expeditions. Some very exciting content planned over there in the upcoming weeks and months. Additionally, if you do want to stay up to date with everything Microsoft Flight Simulator, do make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, FlyBy Simulations. With that said, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.